cut-up doll, and that becomes Ganesha. This is the Puranic story of how the Ganesha is.
Right.
And therefore we must make a distinction. Ganesha is a Vedic god. Gananam tvam Ganapati. This is Veda.
Ganapati is a Vedic god.
Ganapati, but Gajanana is not. Gajanana is Puranic.
Right. So when the elephant gets involved, this is a good point. And this is the type of critical thing I'm curious.
This is what the Brahmins did.
Yeah.
Puranas are the Brahmins. This is where they entire there. So original Gajanana is not Vedic. Gananam tum Ganapatihi Vajamahe. This word is there.
Yeah.
Ganas, and he's the Lord of the Ganas, means the groups of Gananam tum Ganapati. That Ganapati is correct. But Gajanana, all of these are words which later on, stories were built by the Puranas to give etc. And then, as I said, the Om has been turned into Ganesha.
Yeah, can you explain
the
that?
Two stomachs, one for the top of the bigger
is his belly.
Top, big tummy.
Yeah, in the bottom.
And then that
top one is his head.
Om, that part is the sword.
Is the trunk.
And top trunk, and up there half. So that is the Om.
Yeah.
So Om is an image. Om was turned into an image of Ganesha.
Right.
That's how Ganesh, therefore, no puja can start without Ganesha puja.
Right.
Including Ganesha puja itself has to have a Ganesha.
Exactly.
And this is how the material out of which Ganapati is made, namely clay.
Right.
There is a clay made Ganapati to stand in front of him.
Oh.
Gananam tu, so because Ganesha puja also cannot be done without a Ganesh. So they made, in other words, without Om you cannot start anything.
Right.
Omkaram bindu sayuktam nityam jayanti yogina kamadam mokshadam chaiva.
Yeah.
Omkaraya namo nama. But Hemachandra the Jaina, he said Om is not. We have Om, but our Om is not the same as this Omkara. Ours is from A stands for Arhanta.
Yep.
Acharya, A plus A is A. Upadhyaya is A plus U is O. And Muni is Om. So this is Om. Omkaro Pancha Parameshti.
What were the five? I missed.
Arhanta, Siddha. Arhanta, Siddha becomes Asharira.
See, I was wondering.
Arhanta Asarira. Ayariya. Taha Uvajjaya.
Munino. Good.
Padamakkara Nippanno. Prathamakshara Nishpanno. Omkaro Pancha Parameshti.
So, from a Jaina perspective, you're saying...
It is not a woman.
I know, I got you. You're saying that Om represents...
The five ascetics.
Like
five
good
ascetics.
being, ascetic beings.
Ascetic, all for ascetic. Arhanta, Siddha, Acharya, Upadhyaya.
Muni.
And Sadhu.
Muni.
Arhanta means the existing Tirthankara is called Arhanta.
Right.
All Arhats and are not Tirthankaras. Only certain Arhats. Mahavira is a Tirthankara. But many of his disciples also attain moksha. Everyone who attains moksha becomes worthy of worship. That's called Arhat. Arhat was a common word for Buddhists and the Jains.
I know, we had this discussion because it comes in that Matta Vilasa.
Right?
So what would you say is the distinction between the Buddhist and Jain definition of Arhat? I know you wrote an article about it, but for our sake.
Basically is that Arhats are, according to Theravada, when you have removed the avidya, etc., you have become worthy of worship, worthy of praise, reverence, not worship, worthy of praise. So arhati means what he deserves. So it's a Vedic, it's a non-Vedic word, but it's a Sanskrit word.
Right.
But appropriate, originally it was used by Jains, because Jains are called arhataha.
Okay.
And Buddhists also have adopted it later on for the same reason.
Right.
That arhat and Jaina arhat. So both have the same idea. That one who has destroyed all the karma and the not karma, all the kleshas, avidya. Basically avidya. When who has destroyed avidya, he will never be reborn again. But he will live as long as his previous karma lasts. What has been given into this, see, there is a Sanskrit shloka again, a Brahmanical one. There are two kinds of karma, sanchita karma. which you have brought from Anadikala, exhausted, but not every, if you are going to remain 100, I will have exhausted more, but if I have live only 20, I will have exhausted only 1/4 of it.
Right.
So, sanchita karma has to be experienced. It will come into the pipeline.
Right.
Otherwise, it is sitting there.
Yeah.
So, sanchitam dikshaya hanti. This is the Brahmanical. Real diksha, if you have, in the sense that you have real vairagya, so strong and adamant vairagya, that you have totally cut off all desires for family life, for this and that. So, sanchitam dikshaya hanti. When you take the diksha of a monk, grahatyaga, parivrajaka, all your past karmas are totally dissolved. Like what? Like a fire held in front of ice, dissolves ice. Sanchitam dikshaya hanti. But what has already been channeled for this life? Prarabdham, anybody? There is always noise going around. Prarabdham tu, but whatever has been prarabdham means channeled for this life.
Yeah.
Bhogena eva. You have to suffer that.
Yeah, you have to experience it.
Buddha had to suffer severe stomach ache. Why? Because he has karma which was not exhausted.
Yeah.
It will follow.
Yeah.
And it ripens at a certain time.
Yeah.
That's why towards the end he had a terrible pain in his stomach. And he had eaten the poisoned mushroom or whatever they want to call it. But the animal, because Buddhists are not vegetarians.
No, not at
so
all.
they don't have to tell a lie or anything.
No,
They
no.
simply openly say so.
No. Well, it's interesting that you mentioned mushroom because I remember my grandfather would never go near a mushroom. He was almost afraid of mushrooms.
Yeah, mushroom is supposed to be a killer sometimes.
He felt that mushroom was something, it was like meat to him.
Yeah,
it was
absolutely.
Like, absolutely should be kept away.
Yeah, but meat eaters eat mushroom. Though.
I know.
Yeah, so, but mushroom has qualities.
Yeah.
But mushroom also can be hypergenic. What you call, it will produce mental changes.
Oh yeah, psychotropic.
Psychotropic. That's so mushroom is supposed to be
some mushrooms, not
some mushroom, not
yeah,
you are right.
Yeah.
You have to search for it actually.
Yeah.
So this is the
Do you want to sit down here?
No, I'm okay with my hand. I have to rest here.
Okay.
My hand has to rest.
Yeah. Okay.
So sanchitam dikshaya hanti.
Yeah.
In fact, your diksha means your vairagya is so acute that it's like a flame brand held in front of ice. It will dissolve the ice. Karma automatically will disappear. Means what? How it will disappear? We don't have any explanation because karma is not something other than what you think it is in the mind. For that, the Jaina said, no, karma is paudgalika. Karma is material atom.
Exactly.
And there are certain material atoms which can block your knowledge. That's what they are called jnana avarana karma.
Yeah. Interesting.
Because of that blocking, you have no knowledge of certain things.
Right.
Darshana avarana, because you are asleep.
Yeah.
It is the atoms of the sleep which make you sleep. Yeah. Nidra, prachala, sthana, griddhi, these are the 5 words used. The deep sleep, etc. There are certain atoms which are then at that time active. The Jainas have this theory.
Yeah.
Jaina said that there are certain atoms. It's like certain atoms are meant only to block your knowledge. Certain atoms will block only your visions.
Yeah.
Or your sense activities.
Right.
You can't hear.
Right.
You can't hear. You can't nose, smell.
Right. So it's like we were talking yesterday. There's certain cells that liver cells and heart cells.
Correct.
Like this, there are certain karmas.
The karmic matter.
Karmic matter, yeah.
Karmic matter has, some will block knowledge, some will block your 5 sense organs, some will pervert your mind in such a way that you will mohaniya, pervert, the shubha becomes a shubha.
Mohaniya karmas. Yeah,
Mohaniya karma, yeah. Moha means what?
Delusion?
Perversion.
Yeah.
Moha has a sense of perversion. Good looks bad, bad looks good.
Right. It's delusion.
Beautiful looks ugly, ugly looks bad.
Yeah.
And so the reverse of that happening. So sukha becomes dukkha,
Yeah.
feel dukkha.
Yeah.
Whatever is ugly, it looks beautiful, okay.
Yeah.
So Mohaniya has that capacity of reversing your, because of the moha, you cannot see the reality as it is. Knowledge is simply knowing things. But whether it is correct or not, that's not the knowledge's job.
Right.
Knowledge is that I know, this is all.
Yeah.
But whether this is metal or whether this is wood, that I would not know.
Right.
That I will have to find out by different means.
Right.
So the quality of it, etc., the moha prevents you from seeing things as they are
Right.
in reality.
Right.
But it makes you think it's different.
Yeah, and that's the worst part. Not
that's-
only do you
that's-
not see the truth, you see something
Upper-
false.
That's Mohaniya.
Yeah, that's Mohaniya. Then there's the other one, Mohaniya karmas and...
Mohaniya karma is something that makes you see things differently
Right.
than they are.
Right.
Jnanavarna is that which prevents you from knowing things as they are. Simply. What is this? I don't know what this is. So you are told that this is etc., etc. But what is the purpose of it, etc., these all things. So Jnanavarna simply gives you information. But Mohaniya makes you misunderstand things, see things in an opposite way.
Yeah.
Moha.
Yeah. Moha is more harmful in that sense.
Oh, Mohaniya, as long as Moha exists, there is no moksha.
Right.
Mohaniya is the last bit go. And worst Mohaniya is attachment, because Moha produces attachment and aversion, raga dvesha.
Raga dvesha.
So that which your attachment to your body is so strong that the last thing to go is to desire to live. You are afraid of losing your life.
Mm-hmm.
And that goes at the very, very end. All other things, you can overcome hunger, you can overcome thirst, you can overcome sleep, you can overcome everything by your willpower, but you cannot overcome the desire to live. That is in every grain of your body.
Yeah.
And that is so overwhelming that you will do anything to live.
Then what would you say then to, let us say, sallekhana? What that means?
Sallekhana simply means, sallekhana means what? Lekha means what? To thin.
Yeah.
Thinning.
Yeah.
So sallekhana simply is that you deprive the body of food.
Yeah.
And by refusing the food, body will become weaker and weaker, because this is what Arvind says, that when we know that the patient is now no good, he cannot walk around, he cannot function properly, then they first do, they stop the medicine.
Yeah.
What's the point of giving medicine anymore?
Yeah.
With medicine gone, except the painkiller, whatever is making roga, it will be so intense
Take over.
that it will be coming to an end.
Yeah.
So denial of the food is the first stage in the process towards death.
Yeah.
Because how long can you live without food? Water is allowed. Water must be given.
Yeah.
So only for 24 hours or sometimes 3 days you can do without water. So sallekhana has the meaning of voluntary refusal to take food, solid food, liquid food, and finally even water. And in this way gradually you should go. There are 3 rules. It must never be done alone.
Oh.
Otherwise it will be suicide.
So that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it must be always done in the presence of elders or acharya or somebody.
Okay.
Therefore, it should not be privately done. Of
Okay.
course, if you are alone, that's a different story.
Yeah.
If you are entirely alone, there are exceptions, but in general, it should be done with the permission, and always you take a vow. So, suppose now I'm going to end my life. So I'm told that I should get up in the morning and decide now, for today I'm not going to fast, I'm not going to eat. Tomorrow also I'm not going to eat. Day after tomorrow also I'm not going to eat, etc. etc. For 8 days I will not eat. So I should go to the teacher, Guru. Or Guru comes to you to visit. You ask the Guru and the sadhu to come to your house. You cannot go. So he says, Sadhu, he says, Maharaj, I want to take this 8 days fast. I want to end this life like this. You know, his answer is, one day at a time. One day at a time. So tomorrow morning I will come and I will administer that for this day you will fast. For tomorrow you will fast. But third day I will come. You cannot do that for more than 3 days at a time. At the most 3 days, depending upon the situation. The Guru will decide that. But the rule is, you take that decision for 1 day at a time. Next day, repeat. Next day, repeat. Because desire to die itself is wrong.
See, that's what I'm getting at. Isn't that a type of Mohiniya karma?
Absolutely, because jivite, marane, labhe, alabhe, yoge, viparyaye. Yoga means milna. Viparya means ravana.
Yeah.
Jivite, marane, to seek for life and to seek death. Labhe, alabhe, yoga means connect. Viparya, bandhav, arav, ari means enemy. Sukhe, dukhe, sarvada, samata, mama. And that samata, mama, that samata is what called the samayika, samaya. And from the samaya sara, samaya used the soul, and this is what it is. Anyone who desires death is not going to die a holy life. Therefore the Guru says, look here, your wish to live is wrong, but your wish to die is even worse, because you are really nobody. Nature will decide. Your karma will decide when it ends. It's like the sand-filled bottle, where it is dripping one sand at a time. At its own time, it's going to empty. So don't try to bang it up. You cannot add it, nor should you break it up. Although adding is not possible, but you can always break it. Accidents can happen. Like the plane journey the other day at Kajikode, whatever happened. So, death is possible at any time by any means. To wish death is itself as bad, worse than to wish live.
Right. So,
therefore, jivite marane.
So, in the practice of sallekhana then?
Sallekhana therefore means without desiring immediate death.
Okay.
You say, I have desires, no, I don't desire any food anymore.
Right.
I don't desire any, but water is always compulsory. You must be given water.
Right.
So that's the rule. Water is the last minute to go, or last. After that, he says, I don't want even water. Then the Guru will decide. Main thing is that it should never be done privately. Although unless you are alone, that's different. But it's otherwise it will become suicide. Therefore, there are rules written about it. That it should be done with the permission of the teacher or of the family members, and gradually done, and one by one, and only first you should finish eating solid food. Then you should finish eating liquid food.
Right.
Then you should take only juice.
Yeah.
Then only water.
Yeah, I know.
Hot water.
Yeah.
Then at the end, water only, sip of water once a day, something like that.
Yeah, I read about that.
So this is salekha. Lekha means to thin.
Thin.
Lik is to cut, chop off.
So, I mean, like you were saying.
So sallekhana simply means for thinning.
Yeah.
Thinning out life.
Yeah.
So that thinning of light must not be done with a desire to die.
That's the thing. That's what I wanted to understand. Otherwise, it would be a Mohiniya karma.
Absolutely. Moha means Mohiniya karma produces raga and dvesha.
Exactly.
Krodha, mana, maya and lobha. These are the four things which are produced by moha.
Right.
These are called kashaya.
Right.
Kashaya means a concoctions.
Yeah.
Ayurvedic word, kashaya.
Kashaya.
It is
it's that preparation that they
brown
and
the roots and everything.
Yeah.
So krodha, mana, maya, lobha, these are the four kashayas.
Yeah.
And then there are krodha. Some krodha is called ananta anubandhi, which is beginningless times, goes on and repeating.
Right.
And it is so strong that it's always present until you get samyak darshan or something like that. Then the soul is able to free from that. And Others are like beating water with a stick. It makes a sign, but for a minute only.
Right.
Or you go and it on the skin of the tree, arrow. Jack loves Jane. It will last for a season or two.
Yeah.
It will fall off.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
That krodha, mana, maya, lobha have different grades, different greed.
Right.
So they have shown in the cutting of the tree, lobha.
Right.
There is a story about the leshyas, the 6 grades of greed.
Mm.
So 6 people are going into the forest and they are so hungry. So they get hallucination. One man felt thinking that, my God, that fruit tree, wonderful for me. Oh, I will, the moment I look at it, I will cut the tree off and pick up all the fruits and eat them. It's called Krishna Lesha, black.
Black.
The other fellow says, I'll cut a big trunk and pick up mangoes from there. Neela, blue.
Blue.
Third fellow says, oh, that twig there, that has many mangoes hanging. This is called kapota. Kapota means what sort of
Brown.
Brown, yeah, sort of whitish brown.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
And then these 3 are the grades of the greed.
Mm-hmm.
And then the 4th one says, oh, I will just pick up just that small, which has got 3 mangoes hanging. That 3 will be enough for me. That's called Neela, blue.
Yeah.
The other fellow says, oh, that one is hanging from that. That's enough for me.
Shweta.
It's called Neela, Krishna Neela Kapota, Krishna. Pita, that's called Pita.
Pita.
Yellow.
Third one is Pita. And then Shweta.
That's the Shweta. Pita, Padma.
Oh,
Then
Padma.
there is a single one, mango hanging from a tree. That one is for me. That's called Padma lotus. And then the last one says, I see that mango fall on the ground. I'll pick it up. That's enough for me. See the way
Radiance.
mind is working.
Yeah.
Krishna, Neela, Kapota, Pita, Padma, Shukla. We are going from Krishna to Neela all the time.
Yeah.
Very seldom from Kapota
Yeah.
to Pita, Padma, Shukla.
Yeah.
So these are the colors of the greed.
Yeah.
Colors of anger, krodha. Colors of pride,
Mana.
maya. Colors of deceitfulness, cheating, lobha, greed. And I have an article on this called the shades of greed.
Oh, yeah. I know that one.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Based on this idea
Yeah.
of how mind works in such a way. Why is that fellow saying that fallen is enough for me? And others want to say, I want to cut down the entire bloody tree kind of thing. Where does it come from?
I don't know.
So these are all changing every moment. So I advise you is that go away from the lower 3 to go to the upper 3.
I'll try.
And this is how the Jainas have developed this idea that krodha, therefore, when you say anger, we are surrounded by karmic. Karmic means we are surrounded by atoms which are capable of becoming karmic.
Mm-hmm.
They suddenly become, as they come closer to the soul, they never touch the soul, but they come so close enough that if you are angry, they become anger.
Yeah.
They turn it into anger.
See, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
If they are lusty, they become lusty.
Right. If you're lusty, they become lusty.
Suddenly they take the color of your thought.
Naturally. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And this is what the Jaina theory of karma is here.
That is good.
That the karmic matter corresponds to your thought
Right.
and changes itself into that.
Right.
So that you call the krodha matter,
Right.
corresponding to krodha.
Right.
Then that krodha matter then, when with that krodha inside you is expressed through action, suddenly comes inside.
Mm-hmm.
You see, anger came to my mind, let us say. Until I act on that anger, nothing is going to happen.
Right.
So anger is there, but unless I do some such thing with my physical body, Or I call somebody, hey, where you, hello fellow, you there, goddamn fellow, drop dead, or some such thing. You know. Until kaya vang mana, manas alone karma does not produce the kind of force required for the atoms to be attracted.
Right, so you need the bodily action.
Bodily action or verbal action.
Or verbal action, okay.
Sometimes all three, because even verbal is bodily in a way. When you say, yeah, hell with you, my tongue has twisted.
Yeah.
So there is no such thing as verbal alone.
Yeah.
Everything is psychosomatic in a way.
Right.
So Jainas have theory that the ordinary matter turns into karmic matter.
Right.
And that karmic matter then photographs your thought and becomes that.
Yeah.
And having become stood your anger plus that material anger, the moment you act on that anger, it enters you.
Yeah. So that's
ashrava, it is called ashrava.
Ashrava, yeah.
Coming
Flows
in, flowing
in, yeah. So
then that comes in, and then what happens? It comes in and joins the pre-existing, the body pre-existing karma more to that.
Right.
So the krodha karma, krodha invites krodha karma, and krodha becomes that double krodha.
Right.
This way ashrava.
Right.
Then having come inside, stuck bandha.
So it seems like
how long it will go on there, bandha?
Well, that's
depending upon the quality of the ashrava.
Okay.
If it is a very strong hatred,
right.
Some people cannot forgive at any time.
Right.
Dirgha dveshi they are called.
Yeah.
Their anger
hated
lasts.
for a long time.
Means what? They cannot cover something. Means what? It is so stuck together. The dvesha atoms and the dvesha have stuck so. It's very difficult to get rid of them. And therefore tapasa nirjara.
So that's the question. If the situation is that, let us say I have some anger, and then these karmas are also becoming angry. I mean, it's a very slippery slope. How do I get out of this situation?
Well, getting out of the situation is that ashrava nirodha samvara.
Samvara.
You do not let samvara means to stop. So it's like boat filled with water. Boat in a river. First thing to do is to stop the hole. Then empty the water. So if you keep on emptying the water without stopping the hole, therefore samvara is to ashrava nirodha.
That's good.
Ashrava is the coming of that atom turned into anger, into inside.
Right.
So there are three stages.
Right.
Ordinary karmic matter turns into anger matter.
Right.
That anger matter is absorbed inside, brought inside that ashrava, and then it is bound with
so
the soul.
3 steps, and he's telling you to fix step 1.
Therefore, what is called, how do you ashrava nirodhana, how do you do that? For that guard of the 5 senses. As Buddha said, Ananda asked Buddha, at the last moment, Ananda, his chief disciple,
who knew everything.
He has heard Buddha's
he heard
every
everything.
word.
Let me put it that way.
Yeah. Ananda is now as old as Buddha. Ananda is actually related to Buddha in a way. His cousin brother or something like that.
Is he?
According to one story. Gautama's stepbrother or something like that.
Oh, that reminds me, before I forget, I want to discuss with you, we were talking about Vasudeva. I want to discuss the relationship between Kunti and Krishna at some point. That's a different story for another time.
Well, Kunti and Krishna is...
They're related. See,
yes. Krishna,
right?
Krishna. Kunti does not tell Krishna. No, Kunti... Oh, that's a different story.
Yeah, let's go back to that later.
It's Ananda.
Yeah.
Ananda is a monk who was never married. Ananda is Gautama Buddha's cousin brother.
Okay.
And he also, Ananda also, becomes a Buddhist monk.
Yeah.
After Buddha has become enlightened, etc. Ananda becomes, and he becomes the chief attendant on Buddha.
Right.
He is the senior most, let us say, Buddha. But he's so attached to Buddha that he cannot get rid of his attachment.
Right.
That's why he can't attain nirvana.
Right.
All the younger people get nirvana, arhat, they become arhat.
Right.
That means they have attained, there is no rebirth for them.
Right.
That's the idea.
Right.
Ananda does not get that. And then, towards the end, when Buddha is dying, Gautama Buddha, as they show in the pictures, the Buddha.
Yeah. When he looks like Padmanabh.
No, he looks at Ananda, he says, do you have any questions now, O monks? Tathagata, the Buddha is going now. Tathagata means yata asti tatha janati. Gama is to go. Gamagata is as a meaning. Gatyartha jnanartha.
Yeah.
To go means to arrive.
Yeah.
To know.
Yeah.
Everything.
All verbs of knowing or all verbs of going are verbs of knowing.
Knowing. Gatyartha jnanartha. I arrived at the conclusion.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that
even in Telugu, to say, did you understand something? We said, Gamaninchawa. Gamaninchawa. Did it go to you?
Gamya, these words are there. So Ananda says at the end, nobody has any questions, Buddha says to the monks. Because if you had questions, then you are not arhat. Arhats do not have questions.
Right.
Arhat means one who has got rid of all questions. Jijnasa is a question desire. Ananda alone is sitting there. He has not attained arhatship yet because he is attached to Buddha. Bhante, O Lord, Matugamehi, last question. Katham patipajitabbam, how shall we conduct ourselves with women? Matragrama means the entire mother
class
means women. And his first answer is, that is samvara. Adasanena ananda. Don't look at them.
Yeah. Not seeing is the best way.
Adasanena. Isn't it? That's samvara. I refuse to. That's why Buddhist monks carry fan in their hand.
Yeah. No. So now you answered exactly what I was asking. I mean, it seems the only way out of this
absolutely
slippery slope is never get involved at all.
Absolutely. Adasanena ananda.
Yeah.
It's simple, isn't it? Don't look at them.
Yeah.
But Ananda says, Dasane sati. Should there be seeing? But suppose they are seeing. Dasane sati.
What happens if you happen to look? What happens? Yeah. So what does Buddha say?
Dasane sati. Adasane Ananda. Don't look at it. Dasane sati. Some Pali word I miscased. Don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Don't talk to them. Nabhasitabbam. Some such word.
Yeah.
No. Bhashane sati. But should they talk? But if they talk, what should I do?
Yeah. I get it.
And that's Adasanena Ananda. Second word I forget, but it says don't talk to them.
Yeah.
Simple, don't talk.
Yeah.
Seeing is okay, but as long as you keep your mouth shut and don't talk, nothing is good.
Yeah.
But should they talk?
Yeah.
Then Buddha says, Bhashane sati, keep your vigilance up. And that's the word for that. Pali word will come to my mind. It's a very big word. Where your mind is absolutely present.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind is aware what you are thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Keep that mind alert.
Mm-hmm. That
means the mind will not go into any direction now without your permission. That's the word there. It is. Adasanena is a good word. Adasanena Ananda. Then the third one he says, keep your mind alert so that you do not slip from your thing and look at again or do something like that.
Mm-hmm.
These are the three things. And Ananda keeps quiet then. So in other words, he had that question bothering him.
Yeah, all the while.
So there it is. The samvara is really, the first one is Adasanena Ananda.
Yeah.
Nabhasitabbam. Bhashane sati. He says there, keep your mind straight,
Yeah.
vigilant,
Yeah.
so that your mind does not go back.
No, I was just.
So this is samvara.
Yeah.
Samvara means samruvara, to stop the whole made. And this for that the Jainas have a whole path laid out, how you should not think, how you should not, pancha indriyas to be guarded, and all that. And this is, so various words are vachana, gupti, samiti, iryapata words, going and coming, walking. Even the Vedantins, the Bhaktas also have that. Aho, zata, eta. In Marathi they say, walking or coming.
Yeah.
Aho, hello sir.
Yeah.
Zata, when you are going.
Yeah.
Eta, when you are coming.
Yeah.
Ene means coming.
Yeah.
Jane means going.
Yeah.
Aho, zata, eta. Uthata, basata, standing up or sitting. Aho, zata, eta, uthata, basata. Grasa, girata, or when you are eating. Kare, deta, we are giving something to our hand. Geta, or lifting up. Vachana, vadita. Vachana, vadita. Aho, kare, deta, geta, vachana, vadita. Vachana, vadita. Rati Sukhe, even at the time of Rati Sukhe, Aho Zata Eta, Uthata Basata, Ghasa Girata, when he eating, Kare Deta Geta, Rati Sukhachi Avasari, even at the time of the Rati Sukha, Samastanchi Lajja Tejuni, give up the shame of all, Bhagavat Chintana Kari.
Wow.
Think only of Bhagavan. Oh, Zata, Eta, Uthata, Basata, Kama, Karita. So you are working.
Yeah.
Grasa, Girata, you are eating. Kare, Deta, Geta. Kare, Deta, Geta. And then comes this word, Rati Sukhachi Avasari, even at the time of that. Samastanchi Lajja Tejuni. Give up the shame of all means what? Just remain on your Tejuni. Bhagavat Chintana Kari. Aho, Zata, Eta, Uthata, Basata. This is samvara, isn't it?
Yeah.
That means at all times, your presence with the God is there. You are all the time thinking. Marathi, I have got so many collections of these abhangas, pure. That in Marathi, that she says, I have got a song here. She is a very Maharashtrian poetess, Bhakti. She goes for water, picking up water, and Krishna goes behind her to pick up her pitcher. And so she says, my memory is giving me a problem. It's a beautiful one.
It's pretty good, Professor.
Yeah. She says there, when she goes to pick up water from the river,
Right.
with a Krishna goes behind her,
Right.
and he fills the kumbha with water, picks it up, puts it on her head, and all the time he waits her sari, and so she complains now. How will I explain it to my mother when she sees me all this sweat? What kind of help is this for me? Why do you do this? This is what he says. Wonderful thing is that.
What does he say?
What? He doesn't say anything. He has done his job.
He's Krishna. That's what he does.
Yeah. It's a very, very beautiful word. The Shuruat, Prarambha is a Rishikeshi. Kishi jaye पाण्याला मागे धावतो ऋषिकेशी. Behind her runs. Mage means behind her runs Hrishikeshi. That's the song beginning. And so she goes to fill the water. He is there to fill the water for her. She is there to fix it up on her. And she is there. So Rishikeshi is Krishna. Krishna is Rishikesha.
Mm-hmm.
And so then she comes home and she is wet. And mother says, what kind of a thing is this kind of thing? So this is the whole song.
Yeah.
In other words, there is no time when he is not there with you. Yeah. Actually, she is thinking in her mind.
Yeah.
This is her thought, that Krishna is with me when I am doing this. Krishna is with me when I am doing this. Krishna Shivaya. There is no moment without Krishna in my mind.
Mm.
This is the whole substance of the whole thing.
Yeah.
जाते पाण्याला मागे धावे ऋषिकेशी in front of them. And then the same thing described in poetry, that he does this and he does that and makes me all wet. That's the point here is that there is no time. All the time you are thinking of Bhagavat Chintana Kari, Bhagavat Chintana Kari. Samastanchi ladya tyajuni. Bhagavat Chintana Kari. Aho, jata, yeta, uthata, basata, kama karita, kare, deta, geta, galata, khasa gilata when you are eating also. And then Rati Sukhachi Avasari, Samastanchi Lajja Tejane Bhagavat Chintana Kari. Imagine, even at the Rati Sukha, you are Bhagavat Chintana.
Yep.
And in other words, he doesn't say, stop doing that.
Right. See, this is the key thing.
They don't stop anything.
This is a different...
Just do this with this,
so,
do this with this,
yeah.
And then you are not bound by it.
Right. And so essentially this is, to me...
This is what the
Bhakti,
Jains and the Buddhists don't have.
Exactly. This is what Bhakti does later on.
That is why Jains and the Buddhists have no concept of happiness at all. Right. That's what I have an article on that, isn't it?
Yeah,
happiness.
Yeah, I know.
Because that's what I found out after seeing that mother in Pondicherry, that the Buddhists and the Jains have no word for sukha. I have two articles on sukha, happiness in Buddhism and happiness in Jainism, because Ananda Sukha, etc. has no meaning for them. Only in the Vedant, only in the Vedic, Brahmanical thing, Ananda Sukha,
right.
Paramananda,
Satchitananda.
Yes, all there. But the Ananda word doesn't exist in Jainism and Buddhism at all.
Right, unless it's Ananda.
The word Ananda they don't have. Sukha they use only for the worldly happiness and unhappiness.
Right.
Ananda is, I have an article on that.
Yeah, I know.
Ananda
is totally different than joy.
That is
than
missing
happiness.
Totally in the Jaina and Buddhist one. Because there is no question of God. There is no question of love. There is no question of anything at all. Because even Ishvara's bhakti is considered as a ichcha kind of thing.
Yeah.
And therefore, in other words, what has happened is that both the Buddhists and the Jains have, especially Jains, they have scorched totally all feeling. Feeling gives you bhakti.
Yep.
Feeling gives you ichcha.
Yep.
That feeling must be scorched, destroyed by any means.
Right.
Body wants food? No.
Right.
You want karma? No.
Yeah.
You want this? No. Then what is there? Nothing. Just nothing. And therefore, happiness is enemy of everything. So the word happiness, Ananda, Paramananda, Satchidananda, those words are missing in Buddhism and Jainism altogether. All they have is dukkha. And dukkha. They get rid of dukkha. But get rid of dukkha for what purpose? What is there to gain in that? They don't have the word for nirvana is not considerable. Although they poetically speaking, they say dukkha bhava eva ananda. Not having this dukkha itself is enough.
Type of joy, yeah.
They don't develop into that. But then later on my issued article on happiness by Buddhism, later on, bodhisattva doctrine, there it comes. Bodhisattva says that I want to see the entire, all beings freed from this sorrow. And then the word Shantideva, he says this now, that what is so special about me when everyone is suffering, that I should seek my own happiness, my own release. What is so special about me? When all beings are suffering, why don't I try to help others? That's how Bodhisattva doctrine. But there also Sukha is not there. But at the very end, Shantideva's Bodhicharya Avatar,
Bodhisattva avatar.
there it says there.
I read that with Alex.
Yeah, that at the end it says there that Muchyamaneshu Jiveshu.
Muchimani.
When I see all the beings freed from this
Released,
agony
yeah.
of sorrow, etc. Muchyamaneshu Jiveshu. Ete Pramodya Sagaraha. The oceans of the river. That's the first time you use the word Ananda. Ete Pramoda. Ete Pramodya Sagaraha. Taireva mai paryaptam. That's enough for me.
Yeah.
Mokshena arasikena kim.
What's the
use of this
what's
arasikena?
the
Use
point of all this?
without any juice in it, without any flavor in it.
Kya baat
Rasa, without any happiness in it. So the idea, pramodya sagaraha, oceans of happiness, oceanic happiness.
Yeah.
That's for the first time in the Buddhism, Bodhisattva doctrine. Jains are totally dry. There is no Bodhisattva doctrine in Jainism. Nothing. You seek your own, that's the end of it.
Right.
Jainism is the most difficult religion and most horrible. Horrifying.
Horrifying.
The deep thing, they go right to the nigoda, the very one single element, one ekendriya, one sparsha,
bacteria.
and that also they don't have a single body.
Yeah.
All hundreds of beings have a same body. They born together, die together like that.
Yeah.
In the same born again. Because they have seen all of these creepings, all these insects.
Yeah.
And they went, there is a soul there.
Yeah.
And these souls are suffering like that.
Yeah.
And a human being can become like that.
Yes.
In fact, my article called Nigoda to Moksha, that appeared in my...
Is that the one about Marudi? Go ahead.
Both Buddhism and Jainism, both Hinayana Buddhism and Jainism, I should say, have denied any point of grace point, any point where they can help others before helping themselves. Whereas Mahayana, as the Bodhisattva doctrine says, Yada mama paresham cha samam dukkham na priyam tada atmanaha ko visheshaha yadaham nechami netaram, that I should not wish the happiness of others.
Yeah. And
Why should I do that?
This is Shantideva?
This is Shantideva, says that. And muchyamaneshu jiveshu, when I see all the beings are released from their suffering, ete pramodya sagaraha, these oceans of happiness that arise in me, by looking at their muchyamaneshu, they are being. Muchyamaneshu jiveshu, ete pramodya sagaraha, taireva mai paryaptam, that's enough for me, that's pramodya sagara. Mokshena arasikena kim. See that arasikena?
It's same as arhat.
Yeah, correct. Arasikena, arhat. What is the point
What
of
is
that?
the point? Why do you even like...
Why do I have to do that?
What's worthy in
being? That's exactly what that Saddharma Pundarika Sutra says. The same with arhats. You think you are already gone. You are not gone anywhere. You are not attained nirvana. You fake nirvana. You have only reached the half point and you think you are already attained nirvana. Wrong. You think wrong. You don't even know what is behind this wall.
That's in Pundarika?
No, Saddharma Pundarika. You should read that.
I have not read that one. I haven't read a lot of the Sanskrit
Saddharma Pundarika Sutra is original Sanskrit. Mahayana Sanskrit is worth reading. Oh yes, there they have said, arhats thought that they had attained nirvana already. To them it is said, dear fellows, deluded you are short-sighted you are. You thought that you had attained nirvana, when all you have attained is a momentary pause. And there you thought, you climbed so much, and you have not even reached halfway, the shikhara. And you thought that you have attained it, and now you are tired, and you think that you have attained it. No, you have not attained it. Only when you become a bodhisattva and a Buddha, then only you will attain nirvana. In other words, arhats do not attain nirvana at all. Arhats will have to be reborn again.
Absolutely.
You might think you have attained nirvana. Wrong. But we did not tell you at that time because you were deluded. You come from different faiths. So we let you think that you have attained it. This is Saddharma Pundarika Sutra.
I know, I got to read so much stuff to read. So
it has been translated into English also, Lotus Sutra.
Yeah. Except that's what I'm saying is I never read these in Sanskrit.
No, but we read the Sadhana Pundarika Sutra original Sanskrit.
I know, because what happened was when I studied with, I was telling Professor Roth, it's all Chinese Buddhism, and Heart Sutra and Lotus Sutra are number one for those guys. But it's a very different type of
completely
language.
But Sadhana Pundarika Sutra is
Sanskrit.
Good
Yeah,
Sanskrit.
yeah.
And there they have said this now. Deluded you are.
Yeah.
You think that you have attained when you have attained only halfway and not even full halfway. Now, therefore, the time has come to tell you. And why didn't you tell earlier? Because we didn't want to discourage you. Then we let you think that you have attained it. Now the time has come for to awaken you that this is only the beginning. And you have to take this and you have to become a bodhisattva. Once become bodhisattva, then millions of births will have to perfection of the dana, perfection of the kshanti, the dasha paramitas, etc.
Right.
So, bodhisattva doctrine, arhatship can be attained in that very life when you are there. In fact, 70 young men, Yasha, etc., who left the household when they saw Gautama, young man doing that. Gautama was 30 years old when he left the household, and Vanaras, Yasha and others, rich people's children, they said, we also want to leave the house, and they left. And they became arhats in no time. That means there was a belief that they had already brought an end to Punarjanma. No samsara for them.
Mm-hmm.
But what will happen to them, that was never explained.
Right.
Our goal is to not to be born. But is that extinction then?
Right.
Completely destroyed. You want to be nothing at all left after you are cremated?
Mm-hmm.
That answer is not given.
Yeah.
That answer is not given because it will be, that's why Buddha says, Madhyama Pratipad. Neither eternal soul, Vedic, which doesn't change. If it changes, it's not sale. So aparinami. But neither total destruction. So Madhyama Pratipada, Majjhima Patipada. What is it? As long as I live, I do this, that's the enough.
Right.
So I don't speculate about what happens after death,
Right.
etc., etc.
Yes.
So that kind of thing. But Vibhajyavad, these are just the developments of the Bodhisattva doctrine, etc. comes.
Yeah.
But the Sadhana Pundarika Sutra, I think, is something which you should read.
I
In original Sanskrit is available.
Yeah, I'll read it. I'll get to that.